everyone. Welcome to Tama's podcast. So, today I have the pleasure of having a former student of mine who is doing a lot of things, being creative. What I remember from her, she was a good singer, and apparently she's a dancer. So, I can't wait to find out what she's been up to since we both left the school where I used to work at. So, let's see what she's been up to. Let me see if I can see her. There you go. Let me see. Hi, whatever that is. Lovely. Okay, so I'm waiting for my guest, Jaida. All right. I hope all of you are having a lovely weekend, a lovely Saturday. Yeah, I love weekends. As teachers, how we love our weekends. Okay. Nice one. Okay, Jada, I'm waiting for you. Right. Okay, let's see if she can join me. Yes, nice one. Now request to, yes. Yeah, nice one. Let's see if it works. Thank you. Oh, wow. Hi, Jada.
Hi.
How are you?
I'm fine, thank you. How are you?
I'm great, thank you. So, introduce yourself to us, please.
So my name is Jaida. I'm 18 years old, and I'm currently doing a dance performance degree.
Dance performance degree. So when I met you, back, in Sydney, so what were you studying? What exactly were you studying at the time?
In Sydney, I was doing my GCSEs, and I was studying, obviously, the normal maths, English, science, RE, Spanish, geography, health and social care, and dance.
Oh, so you did dance. So when did you discover that you were a good dancer? Like, when did you discover that?
I never really say that I've discovered that I was a good dancer.
Mm-hmm.
I've just discovered that I was passionate about dancing, if that makes sense. So
Yeah, that makes sense.
Actually good at this. It was just, okay, I actually love this.
Okay. Yeah, but also you have a talent for singing, performing.
Yeah.
Yeah. So would you consider one day doing both?
Yeah. I definitely say that if obviously an opportunity arises, then I would do both.
Yeah.
But I feel like, as you said, obviously I love to sing as well. So I could have taken the musical theatre,
Mm-hmm.
Gone down that route and done both. But I think for me, a thing was, obviously everyone always says, okay, because you can sing, you can become an artist. For me, it was never a thing of I wanted to become an artist. It was that I just wanted to dance.
Yeah. Okay.
Waste of talent, but it's a thing of I just would prefer to go down a dancing route.
Yeah. So you are studying this in a university right now, is that correct? So what is it that you're learning about?
So I study dance performance in Stratford, and it's basically a course where you do loads of different styles. So I study like ballet, jazz, tap, contemporary, lyrical, commercial, and like a range of other things that I'm trying to think of that I can't think of.
Don't worry, don't worry. But yeah, so honestly, Jada, I have to say a few things about you. First time I met you, let's find a positive way. I think you were quite assertive. You knew what you wanted. I think some people didn't really understand you. I think that's why sometimes you're a bit frustrated.
Yeah.
But I always believe that you're gonna achieve great things because you are such a clever, young woman. So I'm so happy and proud of what you are achieving because a lot of people, I'm sure, they'll be like, oh, she's acting like that. Oh, they're gonna write you off like, oh, she's not she's not going to achieve anything. But I like that when I came back as a supply in the school, I feel like you turn things around so quickly. When people take decades, sometimes long time, you manage to turn things around. Like you were less angry, more receptive of what people were telling you. How did you manage to change in just a couple of years?
So I think obviously when at the time obviously you're talking about, I was obviously in secondary.
Yeah.
So I think that one main thing for me was mindset. I feel like looking back on it, I had a very negative mindset. I was very defensive, is the word I say all the time. I knew myself that I could do exactly what I wanted to do, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
I knew whether it be good or bad, if I had something in mind, I would achieve that thing I had in mind. And obviously I think that's a good attribute to have, but
Yeah.
I was just not using it in the right way. Like you said, I don't think many people understood me. I think only a couple people I'd say would actually understand me, or they'd take time out to understand me. I feel like in schools, because there's so many kids, it doesn't matter what you're going through or the challenges you face. Some people just have this mindset where, okay, so this child misbehaves, so therefore they're a naughty child. I personally don't think there is such thing as a naughty child. I think it's always a child with challenges. And I think that not many people took time out to understand that. So if it was a thing of, I knew very well that I was very smart. I knew I could play many games and get away with it. Like, that was just basically how I saw it. So if I didn't want to go to lesson, I know that I would not go to that lesson. If I wanted to eventually do go to that lesson, and I wanted to do the bare minimum in that lesson, was acceptable, because I'm not even in the lesson half the time. So for me to just be in the lesson and doing work was fine, even though I knew if I pushed myself, I could really do it. So obviously when I did come out with things such as like a good piece of work, everyone was kind of like, wait, she's actually capable of doing that. Sorry, I'm losing my voice.
That's all right.
So that was one thing for me. Like it was for me at the time. Obviously, I thought, yeah, like I don't have to really do work. Like it is what it is. But then looking back on it, obviously, I realized that I basically I cut my own nose off to spite my face. Basically, like I prevented myself from achieving a lot further. I did do very well. Like I did pass all my GCSEs and stuff, and I did get A's and stuff. But I could have done even better if I applied myself that much longer. But yeah, I'd say my main thing was mindset. So like you said, I was on a path down to destruction, and I knew myself that I could see it, but I couldn't stop it at that time.
Yeah.
After I finished my GCSEs, so I left school early. I finished my GCSEs. I left school early. I came back to the same school in sixth form. Number one, I'd say the environment was very different. You obviously have different school. Environment is very different. It's also, I feel like you kind of get treated differently. So obviously secondary, you get treated like with there's not as much freedom, I'd say. So you're not as responsible for yourself. One thing I've really struggled with is people questioning me. So obviously in secondary, you got questioned a lot. Why are you not in lesson? Why this? Why that? And that really triggered me personally. I can't stand them like questions. So that was one thing that I didn't obviously experience as much in sixth form. And one thing I realized was that I had to realize that not everyone's out to get you. I know some people, it may feel like that for some people, but not everyone is out to get you. And during my time in sixth form, I realized that a lot of people actually did have so much love for me, and they did want me to go do so well and go so far. Yeah. In secondary, you can't really see that, because obviously you're still young, you're kind of doing your own thing, you don't really care. But in sixth form, I could really see that I kind of worked on building more positive relationships with people around the school, and just myself in general. So I'd definitely say that obviously that time to reflect, like between secondary and sixth form, different environment, and actually people, they take a lot more, because there's so much, like so much less. there's
Mm-hmm.
less people in sixth form to secondaries, is that they do have that little bit more time to actually be like, okay, so what's the problem? Da, 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 da. And they talk to you like your, I don't want to say they don't talk to you like your people in secondary, but they talk to you on a certain level that's different in sixth form.
Yeah,
If that makes
I totally agree with what you said. But the one thing I want to say is that when I left, I think it was 2020. I came back in 2021. I did my supply. And I remember looking at you, advising girls not to follow the certain things that you did. And I'm thinking, that was last year. I look at her like, what's going on here? I was like, this is a different person. Instead of encouraging the negative, oh, did that, you can do this, huh? You're actually encouraging them to go to the lesson. I feel like you were that person that you wanted in a staff, if that makes sense.
I
Yeah.
I would definitely say that me coming back, especially looking at my GCSE results and seeing my grades, I personally was like, I thank God. I always thank God. That's one thing that I'm very grateful of. I always thank God. But I knew that if I weren't naturally the person that I am and can put kind of two and two together quite quickly, then I would not have got the grades I got.
Mm-hmm.
Also, to realize that although they were good grades, I could have got solid 7s, 8s, and 9s if I did apply myself the whole way through.
Yeah.
So I think it was like I didn't want it to be a thing of where I miss out on that one grade, especially because this is not GCSEs A level. If this is your next step, like in life, I didn't want to miss out on that one grade because I thought, oh, I'm gonna argue that teacher, or I'm gonna miss that lesson. Like I could have given myself so much more, and I don't. For me, I didn't want like the students to always feel like, oh, someone's just nagging at you or telling you that you can't do this, or there's always a sanction after. Like you're good. No one's gonna do better for you, and no one's gonna try and support you more than you're gonna support yourself. Like no one's gonna love you and support you more than yourself, and that's what I have to try. I was trying to tell them, like, no one's gonna give you any more opportunities than you're gonna allow yourself to give, like to give yourself. Like if you don't have the grades, no one can give you that opportunity.
Yeah.
So have to get them grades and give yourself them options in life. And I think with me, it's like, if I would see a kid and they'd be like, oh, they're really mad or whatever, instead of saying, calm down, what's the matter? I'd say, come and talk to me. Tell me what the problem is, because I know it's just not a problem here. There's clearly so much going on in your head right now. And this is like the tip of the iceberg. I always see it as an iceberg. There's so many layers underneath that people don't see. They just see the tip. And I think I was trying to get to the bottom of it so that I can actually help them from the bottom up. So instead of saying like, go to class, I don't care if you're mad, whatever, I'd say, talk to me, what's the problem? We'll talk about it, then you can go to class, then you can get your opportunity, because you're not going to allow yourself. There's many kids, especially in the school that we was in, that had, I wouldn't say a rough start in life, but didn't have the best start, haven't had things always handed to them on a silver platter. I was one of them. So my thing was that I know you haven't had the best start, but it's not about how you started, it's about how you finish. And that's the main thing. So I think that's why I was always I wanted people to do better. Like I wanted to picture these people that are, living in places like, I don't know, Buckinghamshire or wherever they decide to go in life, or if they want to move abroad and do big things because they've given themselves them opportunities from the get-go.
Yeah. Fantastic. I mean, the thing that I still, and I'm sorry because I know you suffered a loss recently. The reason why I really, really insisted on having you is because this podcast I'm doing is for young people.
Yeah.
So what better way to have a young person, like being, you're adult now, but you were young not long ago, to give that experience, to say, look, I've been there, and you can turn things around. It's never too late. It's about mindset. It's about exactly what you want to do. Because what I also want people to see is that it's not just, and I'm not discouraging people, but it's not just how you're doing your GCSEs. It's about how you finish, like how you know what you want to do in life and you get on with it.
Yeah.
And I like the fact that you always knew, no matter what you've been through, you always knew what you like to do, and you've been going out there and to pursue it.
Yeah.
But also what I liked, you told me a lot of people that I met during our time in Sydenham, they also got on to achieve great things, even though they had not a quite good time at the school. I mean, do you guys encourage each other? Do you guys meet up once in a while and say, oh yeah, you're doing this great, carry on? Like, how does it work?
Yeah, so we always obviously social media is one of the big things for us. Like, as much as social media can cause so many problems, social media can also help keep people so connected. So there are students that obviously might have left early, or they left at the same time as me, but they obviously, we haven't been able to obviously get the time because there's not much time. Like, I personally always say, living in London, you never really have time to have a social life. Like, you never do. People's social media, or it might be like, I don't know, let's say one of the girls post like they're in college and they've made something, and I'll be like, oh my gosh, that's so good, like, how are you doing? Like, we always just kind of watch people's stories and go off that, like, reply to the stories, or it might just be a random message, hey, how are you? We don't really, I wouldn't say we really get to meet up. Like, it might be a thing where we bump into each other or whatever, but we never really, we always go, yeah, we're gonna meet up, and then we never do because we never have time. Like, that's literally always what happens.
Yeah, I know what you mean. But I like the fact that you keep in touch,
Yeah.
which is quite important. I like the fact that you might not be together in the same building, but you are in a way together in, in your lives.
Yeah.
So if you're allowed, is there anyone in particular that I remembered that you're still in touch with today? And shout out to them as well.
That you remember, yeah. I'm trying to think of people that like were similar to me.
How about Ikmat?
Elodie. Ikmat was not long ago, actually. She actually was on here not long ago. Elodie, I still see her stories. Ikmat, I still see every now and again. I do kind of message Ikmat quite regularly. I'm always looking at her stories and stuff. Saskia, I'm always getting updates on Saskia.
Oh, say hi from me, Saskia. Yeah. Shout out.
Yeah, quite a few people, to be honest.
Look at that. You see, that's fantastic. And how about former teachers? Well, apart from you, of course. Anyone else that you have seen recently or contacted?
So I went to Sydenham yesterday.
Oh, nice.
I went to go pick up my A-level certificates. So I saw people there, but no, we don't really stay in contact. We might get the odd, obviously, email, how are you, or whatever, but there's no one in, like, particular that.
So how come you got your certificate yesterday for A-levels?
We get our results in August, and then we have to wait for them to be made into actual certificates. So then...
Okay. So what does the future hold for you? So once you finish, I mean, how long is university? 3 years still?
Yeah, so my degree is 3 years, and then I want to go in to do my PGCE. So I've got 4 years in uni.
And PGCE, to do what exactly?
I want to go into teaching.
This is the best thing ever. Teaching is very rewarding. I'm not gonna tell you the whole thing, but I'm so happy that you're gonna be in a position to inspire young people yourself. That's fantastic. Does your family support what you're doing?
Yeah, so they're like very supportive. Always, like, they always say to me, like, teaching is, everyone says it to me, like, past teachers that I've had, teachers that I know, they always say to me, it's really, really hard working, but it's such a rewarding job. Like, you have early mornings, you have late nights, but at the end of the day, seeing like the students that you teach actually do well and stuff, it makes you feel better inside and stuff. And I think that's always one thing that I've seen. Like, I love seeing people, and I love helping people, and I love seeing people change their lives around. And I just kind of feel like I would love to be a part of that process for them. Like, I had teachers for me that I could sit here and be like, well, these two teachers really helped me out. I'm not going to say whose names, but obviously I think everyone knows those two teachers really helped me during my time. And obviously to have teachers like that, especially for me, like when I had so much going on in my personal life and stuff, to always know that I can come to that school and have them two teachers there that I can talk to about anything and that can help me through anything, that was like till this day, I'm so thankful. And I feel like that's the kind of person that I want to be in a young person's life as well. Like, I want them to be like, okay, do you know what? I know that no matter what happens at home tonight, I'm going to go into school the next morning. That person, like, I'm going to be here, and then they can talk to me about things.
That's fantastic. You'll see. I mean, the one thing that you said about teaching is rewarding is that contact of people. It's the I won't say the downside, but there's a lot of administrative work.
Mm.
But at the same time, for what I try to see positive is about the progress. I'm not saying, oh, marking again or planning again. It's about progress. What is it that they're gonna learn? What they're gonna do? And you can have a lot of fun teaching, performing arts to them. Make them not just teach dance move, but about the passion. Like, you have so much to give, and I can't wait to see you. Hopefully, one day, if there's any vacancy in my school, I'm gonna find out. Hopefully, one day, I would love to work with you again. Can you imagine this? Working as a teacher
Yeah.
with your former teachers. Have you thought about that?
Yeah, it's definitely weird. Like, even when I do work with teachers, they might like refer to themselves as first names and stuff. I'm like, hold on, you was just your last name for the last 7 years. We need some time to adjust. Like, I think that's always my thing. For me personally, I don't even think it's the working with the teachers. I think it's the calling the teachers by their first names and stuff. I think that's one thing that's always gonna be like, hold on, it's gonna take a time to adjust.
Oh, Jaida, well done for everything that you're achieving so far. I'm sure I speak on behalf of all the teachers you've had. We are very proud of you, really and truly. So please keep that mindset. Keep everything that you want, you will achieve it. And I really can't wait to keep in touch with you. All right. So thank you so much for your time, Jaida. I really appreciate it. Have a lovely Saturday, my lovely. Thank you so much.